Drama from a federal courtroom just moments before Kilmar Abrego Garcia was expected to be released pending trial. Good evening, I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. The man at the center of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown was about to be transferred into ICE custody once again. But that's when defense attorneys asked if this means their client will be deported.
News Channel 5 investigative reporter Levi Ismail has followed these hearings from the beginning. And the big question, Levi, is where do we stand now?
You know, the thought was that if Abrego Garcia was released for any reason, he would be immediately detained by ICE. What wasn't clear was if there were already plans to deport Abrego Garcia. So until that's straightened out, Abrego Garcia will remain in local jail. We were just outside the courtroom to see what we believe to be Abrego Garcia being driven away by federal authorities. This was after a court hearing where Magistrate Judge Barbara Holmes was planning to release Abrego Garcia pending trial on federal human smuggling charges. Prosecutors argued in the last hearing that Abrego Garcia was a prolific smuggler who posed a threat to the community. However, Holmes said that prosecutors did not do enough to prove Abrego Garcia was a threat to others, a flight risk, or someone who would intimidate witnesses if he was released before trial. Abrego Garcia was told that as part of his release, he would have to stay with his brother in Maryland and limit travel to work, school, doctor's visits, and court back in Middle Tennessee. He also couldn't have any contact with victims, cooperating witnesses, or any known MS-13 gang members. All of these conditions would apply if for some reason he were released from ICE custody. Prosecutors were also told to communicate with DHS so the courts knew if there were already plans to deport Abrego Garcia, which would make returning him for trial virtually impossible. Prosecutors said they would do their best to coordinate with DHS, but defense attorneys said that's not enough. They argued that if prosecutors can negotiate to keep cooperating witnesses from deportation, DHS can certainly keep Abrego Garcia around for his day in court. Attorneys now have until the end of the week to write up their arguments and turn them into the judge, where she could amend the release conditions and force prosecutors to act quicker with DHS. For now, we believe Abrego Garcia will remain in the custody of the U.S. Marshal's Office until his next court appearance. Now, while we were waiting on the decision going on in the courtroom, supporters outside were chanting for Abrego Garcia's release. My colleague Patsy Montesinos was there to see it all and hear from family. Patsy, what are they saying?
Levi, his wife said that she would not stop until her husband was free. She and advocates were optimistic he would be reunited with his family after today's hearing.
On the day where they would have been celebrating 6 years of being married.
And today, he misses our wedding anniversary.
Jennifer Vasquez Sura is separated from her husband, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Kilmar, if you can hear me, I want you to know that all these hardships have only strengthened our love and deepened our faith in God.
The Trump administration mistakenly deported the 29-year-old's legal resident to El Salvador back in March. It created a political firestorm around the country. Then earlier this month, he was brought back to the U.S. and charged with being a human smuggler.
Kilmar was abducted, detained, and illegally jailed by the Trump administration on March 12th.
It's been 106 days since he was taken into custody.
Kilmar should have never been taken away from us.
As the debate continues about his release,
bring them back! Bring them back!
Supporters chanted outside the same courthouse where the hearing was taking place.
Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here.
Saying they were standing up for justice, freedom, and due process.
In America, we're not supposed to be imprisoning people and then running around and trying to find mistakes that they've made.
There seems to be some misunderstanding that due process is only for citizens. And due process, if you look at our Constitution, is guaranteed to all persons.
As those closest to him prayed,
we pray that truth will prevail in today's hearing. Guide the hearts and minds of all involved.
That on his wedding anniversary, Abrego Garcia would get to go home with his family.
Our children are waiting for that call, knowing that you're on your way home to them.
That reunion is not happening, as Levi mentioned. He will stay in jail, at least for now. But if released, he could be placed into ICE custody and face deportation. Carrie?